3, 2, 1, live. Good morning, good morning, good morning, boys and girls. So, how's everyone doing? Today is a fantastic day, so let's get this shared around. I think everything is up and running, or at least it should be. So let's get this link, copy that. The neighbors are getting restless, so he might burst in here at a certain point. But I threw in some Peppa Pig, so we'll see how that works. Okay. Let's post that. And bloop bloop. And let's share that to my feed. Shared. Okay. So that should be shared around. How's everyone doing today? I think today is a fantastic day, and I have a few more things to show off and talk about. But let's see. Yeah. I don't know if you can hear him or not, but he is protesting pretty heavily that I should be in the living room watching Peppa Pig with him, and to be honest, I really don't want to watch that show anymore. It keeps him occupied, but so it's absolutely mind rot to me. Ooh, someone's over in chat. Good morning, Alan. How are we doing? So let's get over to the chat and get this guy kicked off. How do I do that transition? There we go. So I didn't brew any coffee this morning. And by the way, how are you doing today, Alan? So I didn't brew any coffee this morning, so I'm cheating. And I've been cheating for a couple days. Be nicer if it was one of those Guinness coffee beers. That is definitely breakfast in a bottle. And some Pop-Tarts. So I have some news for everybody. Friday was my last day at the engineering job. So that's a thing. So I'm doing Knightsmith full time now. Hooray! Actually, no, I'm super psyched about it. It's just I'm also very nervous about it. So there's a little bit of one and the other both going on at the same time there. But yeah. I do have a few things to show off, a little bit, you know. Last time I was talking about my J-hooks and different proportions and whatever else. I did a few more things here, and yeah, so I'm going to talk about those a little bit. and yeah, we'll see how it all plays out. So how you doing today? You know, you have any plans for today? And did you get the car fix? I also saw that Jill's car, something happened to that. So, Eileen, good morning. Hi. By the way, Eileen, I saw your post over in the Facebook group. Awesome. That looks fantastic. A nice little set. All three of those things that go together: the board and coffee mug and whatever. What else was it? Let's see. Oh, so it's like, all right, so it's 2 mugs. I'm a dirt and diamonds kind of gal. Very cute. I didn't read the other one. Never let the fear of striking out keep you from playing the game. Very cool. All 3 of those turned out fantastic. Thank you. A door hanger and 2 tumblers. Someone's getting angry. Yeah, so I have a few things to show off. I was telling Alan that Friday was my last day at the engineering job, and now I'm doing Knightsmith full time. So very scary to take out that safety net, but it needs to happen. Alan, my truck is up and running. Jill's at the shop. Mechanic says it's something to do with the radiator. Well, I mean, replacing radiators kind of sucks, but shouldn't be terrible. Hopefully. Wow, yeah, that sucks. By the way, when's the next time you're gonna be at the church? Because I still have that thing for you, that hair thing. Waiting to give it to you in person. Scrum diddly umptious. Was over there yesterday morning. Well, that was the last time you were at the shop. When's the next time you're going to be there? Or, yeah, that was the church, I'm sure, but when's the next time you're going to be there? I mean, I could mail it, but... So, I have one more thing to show off this week. And then, starting tomorrow morning, I'm doing a production. Run for a few different things. Tomorrow's going to be a big blacksmithing day, I think. Because I think I messed up some of the blocks for what I was doing for the sound baffle, and I think I'm gonna change pace on those a little bit. But before I do that, I want to show you guys what I am currently working on, or what I'm currently prototyping. Now you saw the J hooks and stuff I did last week. So let's get this guy down. probably get the scene queued up too, I suppose. That works. Let's click over there and show off. So I did J-hooks last week. Just trying to figure out size proportions and how I want to produce them, because I want to make a bunch of them. There's that. So then I think I've made a decision on that. And here are some S-hooks that were made. Now, I made these guys, these three. And then the new guy, Derek, made this one. Looking at both of these, I'm going to say doing anything with 1/8 inch material is just out altogether. It's just, I mean, you can get a nice little finial on it and get that hook rounded over, but it takes so much extra work because this stuff cools down so fast that unless you cut them, grind them, and whatever else previous to doing this, it's just not worth the effort. So I'll have to find something else that 1/8 inch stock would be good for. I only got like 2 sticks of it, so it's not a huge waste. Maybe like cloak pins or something would be good, or maybe a small light duty buckle would be good for this, but I don't know. So that leaves us with these two guys. Now, overall, this one is definitely a winner, I think. This one I kind of lost control of it a little bit. So the twist isn't centered, but that's not the point. The point is just a form and form. Now, the 1/8 inch ones, another reason why I'm not going to do anything with them is they're so light, and like you can bend them with your finger, so it doesn't scream quality, even though like this is the one that Derek did, even though he did a really nice job on it, given the limitations of the stock and the material. It just doesn't scream quality to me, and that's okay, because this was just a figuring out what you can do with it type of run, prototyping. That's fine. But this one, I like how I had more control over where the bends were. That's going to be irrelevant when I get the bending jig. And I like how I had a longer taper on this. This one was kind of short and chunky. But overall, I think this is the guy here. I think if I make these tapers just a little bit longer and use this as the form for the bending jig, I think we'll be in good position. And I was thinking about starting off with round stock, because that's what this is. This is round stock, but you have to square it up before you can do the well, you don't have to, but it's easier to square it before you do the taper, and then I round the taper anyways, and then I squared up the center. Is pretty. Oh, thank you, Miss Fallen from Grace. Then you have to square it up to do the twist anyways. Then you have to square up this side, so I'm almost thinking that this might just be better starting off from square. I know for the J hooks, I'm going to start off from square stock anyways. Just so, I mean, I like having that big long, I think this was a 180 degree twist, or not, 360 degree twist. I think this was like a 720 degree twist. So this whole thing had to be squared up, tapered, beaten down, and I started from round stock on both of these, same stock. So I think if I just switch over to doing square stock from the start, production wise it'd be a lot easier. But I mean, for just trying to screw around and figure out what I've been, you know, what to come up with. Nice twist. Thank you. I need to get a twisting jig, a twisting iron. That's another thing I'm going to be building soon. But I think for what it was a super productive 2 days in the shop, getting all these J hooks made in different styles, getting all these S hooks made with different elements, just so that I can physically understand how the process is, and hold a piece so I can then critique it for myself. So, and that's something I do a lot. Like, I used to work at this concrete facility, and I do a lot of steel design and stuff, and other things. And when I was making their concrete forms, designing their concrete forms for their wall blocks, people were making fun of me. Because I would design it in CAD, and then I'd print it off as a scale model, and then from there I would build it just like they would in the steel shop, but at my desk with, you know, an X-Acto blade and some paper and some tape. That way I could fully wrap my mind around this object, how it's going to be poured, those sorts of things. So I'm always a very physical thinker, because I'm not fully confident in if I can just conceptualize it, if it's going to work or not. This way, it's nice to have the prototypes in my hand. So, what a morning. So unfortunately, me and Little Man both have some sort of upper respiratory and cold type thing, and he has been miserable the last couple days. So I'm not feeling too hot myself, but I'll get over it. I think after this I'm going to switch to some tea with some honey in it. I figure that helped me out a lot when I had the Rona. It'll help me out a lot now with just this regular thing. So, by the way, do you agree with me on going with a bigger stock and stuff? Oh no, yeah, everyone's getting sick. I'm just glad it's not that stomach bug that's going around. I know your little one's kind of sick right now. How's he doing? How's that little guy doing? Is he feeling better? I remember last night you said his fever's starting to break, and I hope you both feel better soon. Thank you. It's appreciated. You can hear it creeping in my chest a little bit, but it's mostly just a runny nose. Alan ended up borrowing a torch from Elvis. He's had to swing by the church yesterday. Yeah. That stomach bug was BS. Yeah. I know a bunch of people are getting it, and it's no good. It's really, really knocking people out. A lot of people out. Hard. So, this stuff is strange. It has no relevance to what I'm talking about or what I just showed you. This stuff changes like colors as it gets warmer or cooler. Like now, it's kind of hard to tell on camera, but now it's like mostly translucent. But when it's colder, it's more of like a milky white. Strange stuff. Fever comes and goes. He's being an even bigger mama's boy. Yeah, that does happen. But what are you gonna do? Little ones get sick, and they don't have the knowledge or the experience to deal with it. So they get grumpy and clingy, and you just have to hold them and take care of them until it's all better. And yeah, he's going to be a bit of a mama's boy. Yeah, I would too. If I'm hurt and I feel crappy and I don't know why, and I can't tell anybody how or why, I just cling to whoever was closest to me that would take care of me. You know? That's my view on it, at least. So, designing a, I don't mind the snuggles at all. Well, that's good. I like my little guy to be as independent as possible. But these last couple days, he's just been a little cuddle bug. And sometimes when we go to the shop and, you know, he hits his head for the 16th time, he doesn't want to run around anymore and he just wants to cuddle up with me, and that's okay. But I do have some cool news. I am working with a company right now called Fondipits. They're based out of Dallas, and I am fabricating a bunch of their fry coat holders for their food truck. I was using 3/8 rebar for my hooks. 3/8 is a pretty good size. I was thinking about using 1/4 inch. I'm not sure how thick this bar is. There's my tape. Let's see. Round section. Yeah, this is about 3/8. A hair bigger. I'm thinking about, you know, bumping it up to 1/4 inch for the J hooks. For these S hooks, 3/8 feels nice. Yeah, this is 3/8, or close to 3/8. Yeah, but this has a little bit of weight to it, so, and you can't deform it with your hands. Like, can't squeeze that. Can't squeeze it shut or pull it open. So, I think that's a good size. It's a pretty good size. I don't like using rebar just because you have to forge down all those deformations, or you have to grind them down. and I want to work. The idea is to make money off it and to do production runs. So that would be a lot of extra work. And if I want to sell them for, you know, $15 a piece, that's already a pretty thin margin. So I don't know. But I definitely want to bump these up to a thicker size, just so that mainly for this section up here, so I could keep it kind of thick, because I know the thinner one, because it's coming in tension, and this is just a plate that supports that tension. I know, as you know, as a smith, and you know, knowing all the material sciences and, you know, doing the engineering work on it, I know this isn't going to go anywhere or do anything. However, the average person doesn't. So I think something thicker will overall end up being better. I also want to run a countersink through these, so when you screw them to whatever plate you're going to be doing, it is secure and flush. The hooks I was making are for the tripod for cooking. Ooh, that's a good idea. And a tripod cooker would be a good idea too. That'd be good. I want to learn. I want to get a whole line of forged equipment for doing for doing like barbecuing and stuff, both outdoor barbecuing and for grilling. I didn't even think about doing S-hooks for a tripod cooker. I didn't even think about doing a tripod cooker. So, yeah, that's the thing. But yeah, I could do a tripod cooker and like a whole you know, not meat selection, but a whole thing of outdoor grilling stuff, and then stuff for like a barbecue grill. You know, your standard grill. I did a heavy spatula, which is fantastic. However, that definitely needs to be made out of. My fire pit is naked. We can fix that. Generally, I prefer things when they're naked. However, fire pits, they need a little dressing. And a lot of the stuff I made is based on extant finds. Ooh. I would definitely like to pick your brain a little bit on some of the stuff that you've made and what kind of finds you're looking at. So I think I want to make like a tripod plate, which is something I actually bought my dad last year or for Christmas or something. I'm not sure, but basically it's just a plate with 3 holes bored in it, and you stick whatever sticks you have lying around into it, and then you can suspend things from that. And that's one I want to make, but that's basic. The next one is a fully forged tripod with all that stuff. But I also want to make this one thing that I saw, and let me pull over to here so you can see my sketching. So there's the ground. And I'm thinking, if you have a fire pit here, right? I want something that you can jam into the ground. That has a thing here. And I think this will be movable. So this will just be a loose collar that will, so if you have a loose collar around a thing, when torsion is applied to one side or the other, it locks in place. So that's what this guy would be, and this would be like a grill. And then over here we'll just do a little curly Q, just so it doesn't get too hot. And then up here, maybe do something a little bit sturdier and have that come out. And this will have some sort of a hook on it. And you can put an S hook on that, so it'll be like that. And then from there, you can put like a little pot or something on there. And this will also have a piece coming off with a little curly Q. So that way you can do your barbecuing, and you could throw a pot on top of the fire and do whatever. I've seen a few of these. I think this would need a bit of a base. So probably a plate, and you drive this down through the plate, and this will have a collar on it there, and this will have a little collar on it there, and clunk. And this would be a round. This would be a round bar. I think all of this would start as round bar, and this guy here would look something like maybe a basket weave on the back, I'm not sure. And then here we would have bloop, bloop. You know, your standard grill top. So I don't know. That's one thing I definitely want to do, or at least try. Let's see. The tripod that we have also doubles as a spit as well. Ooh. That's something that's doable. Interesting. I'd love to see how that works. It's an easy construction. I'm sure it is. Most things are a lot easier than people think. But sometimes it's hard to conceptualize things until you've seen it. And but I do like easy. I do like easy. I appreciate easy. The thing about that one I just drew, though, it is mostly a welding project, to be honest. Fallen from grace. Reminds me of the time my gas line on my grill broke and I had to use the grill grate over my fire pit. Yep. Actually, when I go camping down the river, that's exactly what we do. We do have like the small little like Coleman stoves, just so that we can set that on a log, crank it on, throw in some water so we can have coffee working while we're getting the fire set back up for the morning. But otherwise, we just build the fire and we bring grates with us, grab a couple big logs or a couple rocks, saddle those on the side of the fire, and then just grill just like that. Definitely a huge time saver, huge space saver as well. Let me see. Reminds me of the time, Alan. One bar has a loop, and the other two have hooks at the ends. All right, that works. Sounds nice and easy. And most of our cookouts tastes of pine. That yeah. Well, I mean, what's wrong with having a slightly evergreen flavored steak? You know, you could even instead of seeing that as a bug, you could see it as a feature, and then make pine beer, or I think they originally called it green beer, but it was a thing in the colonial times. What's his name? John from Townsend's and Sons has a great episode on making pine beer. And it does have a very piney flavor and stuff. And the whole thing behind doing the pine beer was to get the vitamin C from the needles and from the tree as it is. So it's a very quick beer, very low alcohol content, just enough to maybe give you a slight buzz if you pounded one or two of them, but nothing you could really get drunk off of. But it had a very piney, very thick pine flavor, which is surprisingly refreshing. But yeah, the idea was to utilize the natural environments in the winter, and it's very hard to get vitamin C in the middle of the woods in winter, unless you find some game, but it's not a lot of game in the middle of winter. So what do? Well, they came up with pine beer. Which actually, Alan sent me a couple pictures. Let's see what rolls up here. Okay. So just some basic hooks. Okay. All right, so that's what he's talking about, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, that one on the bottom is very delicate. Very delicate. The top one too has a very nice, nice hook on it. Very nice. What size did you? What size bar did you make that out of? Half? On the bottom looks like you put the bottom of that one makes it look like you put a twist on it too. Now, have you ever done any meat skewers? Because I've seen a lot of people who've done some like barbecuing skewers, and they seem easy, but I'm not sure about the practicality of them. We bought it at Pensick. Oh, man, I wish I could go to Pensick. Another year or two, and I think I'll probably get my ass up there. Yeah, another year or two. But yeah, that is those are gorgeous. Also, thank you guys for always hopping up to the plate when I'm not understanding something, so I could and sending me pictures of stuff you're working on and stuff we're talking about. It really does help a lot, and I do appreciate it. So thank you. But I think I will be watching some Townsend and Sons today, just so I could remember the green beer thing, because I think this time of year is the best time to harvest the buds. So that might be something I do relatively soon. Unfortunately, the way they make it destroys a lot of the vitamin C. Because the they say boil it for so many hours and blah 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 blah, and a lot of that is to remove impurities. However, that also removes a lot of the vitamin C, so you'd have to drink more of this stuff to get the amount needed to stave off scurvy. Which you think of scurvy as like a ocean-faring disease, but it's really not. It's just a lack of vitamin C, and you can get that in the middle of winter. For reference, the pegboard is 24 by 48. Oh, that's a big set you got then. How far do you drive that into the ground? Wow. So those are almost 4 foot long, just a hair under. How far do you drive those into the ground? Maybe a foot? It looks like, roughly. That would be a great forging project. Very fast, very easy to make. I think that would be a really good thing. That'd be really good, actually. And I'm sure you can get a good animal on that. So yeah, I'm sold. I'm gonna work on making a set. I don't think I have half-inch bar that's 4 foot. Maybe I do. I think everything I have is like 32 inches, 33 inches, something like that. We'll figure it out. It's not that big a deal. We'll figure it out. But I have a project for a company called Fondipits, and varies by what we were cooking. That makes sense. It makes a lot of sense. I'm doing this project for a company called Fondipits, and they reached out to me through Facebook to make their fry cone holders. Now, the first couple tries I made the forms out of wood, out of pine. So those got burnt up real fast. I was working the steel at yellow orange heat, and the idea is it's a larger ring that comes around, comes up at like a 30-degree angle or something like that. It has a slightly smaller ring at the top, and then on that spine piece there's a little ring welded on there. Super easy project once I get the form done. But I think what I'm going to do is film the whole thing, and that'll be my introduction to the forge kind of video. I mean, yeah, because I haven't done any real forging videos. I did one live stream that I took down a week or two ago at the shop. I was in the middle of the day, and I was just doing, I was in a good mood. It was just me and Little Man, and I was halfway through making a hook, and he was like, you know what, I can just go live, so why not? So I did, but no one showed up, and it's kind of a long-winded video, so I just took that off. So I think what I'll do is I'll film that whole thing, because I have to make the form, so I'm gonna make those out of metal. So there's gonna be a lot of welding to do tomorrow. And then after all the welding, and everything's all tacked together and good looking. I think I'm gonna to do a bunch of them. It's all out of 1/4-inch round bar, so each one costs one full stick of 1/4-inch. So we'll see how well that goes. I'm just gonna get the first couple at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever. But I think I'm gonna try and find somewhere that is cheaper and carries longer sections, because they sell them at Lowe's and Home Depot at 36 inches, and each one is 34 and change. I know it's 34 and a half, but I need to put a little pigtail on the end, or a little hook on the end, so that when I'm ripping them around the forge, or ripping them around the the form, they all stay in line. Try Tractor Supply. I'll check them out. That's where I get my charcoal from right now. Speaking of which, I should probably go up there tomorrow morning and get another bag of charcoal. I just opened my last bag, and I always want to have 1 or 2 bags on reserve, just in case. Especially if I'm really ripping through things and I'm really working fast and hard. It's just a lot easier to get everything up, done, and ready when I have all my supplies. So yeah, I'll give them a shot. Be nice if I can get them in like 6-foot lengths, you know, because 3 foot I have like that much cut off on each one, which is just ridiculous. 5 foot's too small. 6 foot, then I have lengths like that. At least I can throw them in the forge and get some hooks or something out of them. Yeah. So it was weird getting everything cleaned out from the office. It was very weird. Friday, because I didn't really do anything other than clean, turn in my time cards, say goodbye to everybody, wipe myself from the system. It was a strange day. It was a very strange day. Very nostalgic too. Going through all those old projects that were finished, that I kept them off onto the side in case we needed to reference them. But they are all out to bid, built, as built, so I don't need any of the markups or anything else. I didn't need to preserve anything else. So I looked through them and threw them away, and it was very nostalgic, you know, working on fire halls and different insurance jobs, and you know, I did the airport, both the taxiway Delta rehabilitation, and I worked on the bid failed on the last one I did, but doing the loop road that takes you from the township road up around the terminal and the parking and stuff. Worked on churches, worked on stuff in, you know, New York City and down in North Carolina. Different historical projects, stormwater projects, flooding projects, MS4 projects. I did a lot over the last three and a half years with that company. It's very strange now to think that it's over. Kind of sad, actually. But now I get to do this all the time. So, upwards and onwards to greater and better things. Or as Stanley used to say, Excelsior. But now it's more important than ever that my patrons know how much I mean to them. So, I think what I'm going to do is my first run of S-hooks, I'm going to ship out to all my patrons over at patreon.com/Knightsmith. So if you want to get an S-hook, go over sometime this month, sign up, and you'll be getting an S-hook in the mail from me in a couple of weeks, maybe 3 weeks, 4 weeks. So yeah, I think that's what I'll do. My first run of my first prototype run of S-hooks, I'll send out to all my patrons, just as a thanks. And I will definitely be putting a post up on of that up on the Facebook group and pretty much everywhere. So yeah, should it be S-hooks or J-hooks that I put out, that I send out? Because I'm not sure which. Because S-hooks are more versatile, but the J-hooks are, you can mount that and use it every day to hang your school bags or your purse or your coat, keys, whatever. But the S-hooks, you take them with you. You can throw them on a bag, whatever. Not just used for camping and fishing and cooking. They're just a general use hanger, I guess. I guess they both are just general use hangers, but one is mobile, one is stationary. Not sure. What do you guys think? What should I send out to my patrons? S-hooks or J-hooks? I'm kind of leaning on the S-hook. I think it's a very classy, classical shape and everything else. But tomorrow, I'm going to be doing a bunch of these. I'm going to be working on building forms and bending jigs. And I'm going to have Derek working on either on the forge or on finishing the... I could also see the need for tent pole hooks for canvas pavilions. Oh, yes, definitely. Most definitely. I could easily do those. Oh, and that would be a great way to burn up the last of the stock for the Okay, so the little bit of remainder I get from doing those fry cone holders. What I could do, let's just bring it over here again and fade around. So I'm gonna have maybe, so let's call it 35 inches, because they're 34 and a half for the fry cone holders. The whole thing is 34 and a half, but to do it I need to put a little leg on it, so let's call that a 1/4 inch leg. So let's say I get a 6-footer. So that'd give me a 2-inch remainder. That's not a lot. But what I can do is, let's say I get a piece that is 4 to 6 inches. I could put a nice long taper on the bottom, and then, you know, have it nice, all nice and square. Have it come up, and then instead of just doing the regular standard hook down, what I could do, have it come up, do a bit of more of a gentle hook down, and then do my little curly cue. My biggest problem with camping hooks is there is no way on earth to really get them, you know, once you drive them in, and it depends on what you drive them into. Sometimes they are a real pain in the ass to get out. They seem too small and flimsy. They're really small and flimsy, and there's no real good way to get them out. At least with that, you could something to pull on, or you could, you know, hook something around it and yank it out. Yeah, I think that's the thing to do. Yeah, man, yeah. That's what I'll do. I also want to get maybe some 3/4 round bar. I know that's pretty hefty stuff, but I want to make a hold fast. At least one hold fast. I might also want to make one for the woodworking stuff. I don't really have availability in my current, you know, where it's at to put a hold fast. On the anvil, I definitely do though. So I don't know if I want to use like a 3/4 inch round bar and put a big shoulder on it, or if I want to find something that'll fit in the pickerel hole, but I don't know. But I definitely want to do a lot of camping stuff, a lot of grilling and barbecuing stuff, just for, I think it would work out well, don't you? But I think that sort of thing would be a very good addition. But, well, guys, we're rounding up on our hour. This has been fantastic. Very helpful, especially from you, Alan. Very helpful. You're always helpful. So thank you, and I appreciate it. But yeah, I think I'm going to make a bunch of these S hooks and J hooks and send them out to my patrons. Maybe I'll do one of each. I don't know. But yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Steak hook flippers. Ooh, I like that. I really like that. Yeah. Alright guys, well that's the hour. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you. I really do. Stay tuned for content that's going to be coming up more often. There's going to be kind of random live streams and quick posts coming up. Just as things are, you know, starting to ramp up and production, you know, kicks into place at the shop. And I'm training my new video editor, actively training him. So that's pretty awesome, which means all this backlog is finally going to get worked through and sent out. And yeah, that's pretty much that. So guys, thanks for watching. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And thank you for helping me make this world better. One kerf at a time. And I'll see y'all later.